Coming up, we were made to understand that the police are our friends and that they were put in place to protect and serve us, the citizens. However, in recent years, the entire world has been forced to sit back and endure some of the antics of the police force worldwide. In the last 5 years alone, we've watched as the police have had their way with regular citizens, and more often than not, these encounters with the boys in blue have had disastrous effects. In this video, however, we're going to show you how civilians were able to handle and even humiliate some of these cops in the most bizarre police encounters you can imagine.
Yeah, gun!
Sit back and watch as these regular citizens knock these cops down a peg or two. Kid's own cop at the border. We begin our list with a kid who just returned to the country by passing through the border. As he re-entered the country, the kid gets pulled over by the cops at a checkpoint not too far away from the border.
I don't answer questions, sir.
You don't answer questions?
I do not, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I get you.
Yes, sir.
Is this your vehicle?
How I said, I don't answer questions, sir.
Meaning that cops didn't even let him breathe for up to 10 minutes before throwing his weight around by asking him what seems to be a bunch of irrelevant questions. However, the cop wasn't for the fact that the kid actually had a sound knowledge of his rights, especially the Fifth Amendment rights, which protects people from having to speak or testify if they may incriminate themselves through the testimony. As such, you can see how he decides to ignore all the cops' questions. Although one may be skeptical about this approach, it's clear that the guy had committed no crime, so it makes no sense for him to incriminate himself just to make this policeman happy.
It was by the right there at Houston and Alamo, and now what he walked up to me and he asked me.
Interestingly, the cop tries to fool the young man by stating that he gets it, which means that he can see the frustrated kid's point of view.
What cops say were threatening messages. According to the police report, Daniel Marquez, a 5th grader, sent a Google image of 4 assault rifles to a friend and text.
However, this is quickly revealed to be just a ploy because he wastes little time to continue asking this strange question.
9-5, look at a unit up here.
Nice try, bro. Fortunately, the kid didn't fall for this trick. Instead, he maintained his stance by standing behind Fifth Amendment rights. Frustrated, the cop eventually gives up before letting the kid go.
A heartbreaking moment. Police officers and sheriff's deputies stand shoulder to shoulder, showing their support to a 5-year-old boy.
This just shows viewers that you should be well aware of your rights, and if you're sure you haven't done anything wrong, you shouldn't fear the police when you may need to defend yourself. All in all, we're pretty sure the kid could have done without all this drama. Cop attempts to give teen speeding ticket for nothing.
3937.
All right, thank you.
Okay, day and drive safe.
Next up, we take a look at a cop who looks like he just wanted to give out tickets for nothing. This happened when this cop stops a 17-year-old girl to give her a ticket, unaware that he was about to look like a bumbling goon. Apparently, the reason he pulled her over was because she was speeding. As such, upon issuing his ticket, he tries to make her sign the ticket so that it would seem like she officially accepted her fine. Unfortunately, he didn't count on running into a sharp and alert young woman. After recounting that she was doing 80 in a 55-mile-per-hour area and that she needed to take the tints off her windows,
speed going at 80 and a 55. I need to take the tint off the windows, so I just need to sign this white box here. That's because I'm doing my job. I'm allowed to.
How are we getting a ticket for speeding if we were following you and your lights were not on?
Because I was trying to catch up to somebody.
she asked him a simple question before falling for his trick by signing the ticket. All she asks is, why did she get a speeding ticket when all she was doing was following the cop who was driving as fast as she was? Incredibly, he was even speeding without putting his sirens on. Rather than seeing the errors of his ways, the cop deflected his liability by stating that he was trying to catch up with someone. Conveniently, this is someone that we never see in the video. Regardless, you can see how the girl doubles down on her position. How was she getting a ticket when she was only matching the cop's speed?
Stop. Okay?
Take your hands off me.
Just stop.
I wasn't at...
Again, the cop refuses to be accountable. Instead, in the hope that he could just confuse or intimidate her into signing the ticket, he tries to turn the tables on her by asking her why she was following him in the first place. Luckily, the girl doesn't seem to be fooled by this move.
quick trip and I didn't steal anything.
Okay. We got multiple calls about you on the north side.
Let go of my hands now.
I'm not going to do that.
You have no right to touch me.
Yes, I do. All right? You're being detained.
For what?
I already explained it. Theft. We have a couple.
For what?
Couple damage complaints.
I never.
She simply replies that she's just matching his speed, and as such, it doesn't make any sense that she's getting a ticket, but he isn't getting fined in any way. Incredibly, the cop justifies this by stating that he was just doing his job. To this, the girl reminds him that his lights weren't on, so how was he acting as though he was doing his job? Be careful, guys. These cops just think they're above the law.
At least 3 or 4 investigations involving you going on.
Cops pull the wrong Uber driver over. In this clip, we take a look at a cop who stops a driver from doing his job, unaware that Jesse Bright, an Uber driver, was recording his interaction with the cop. The cop in question became antsy when he eventually noticed that this vehicle stop was being recorded by the driver.
Okay? Especially when the person you're doing it to are the police.
Okay, sir. I apologize.
I don't know where you're coming from or where you think you're appropriate in doing that. It's not the way it works. How long have you been in this country?
Amazingly, the cop lied that you aren't allowed to record your interactions with the police, as if we haven't seen a ton of these videos, and as if we do not know that you might need an account of what happens when your day is interrupted by the boys in blue.
Turn it off.
I can keep recording you.
Turn it off. I'm taking jail.
For recording you? I'm sitting in my car holding my phone. What is the law? What are you arresting me for? I'm sitting here.
Fortunately, this driver knew his rights, so he instated that he was going to keep the camera rolling until he was done with them. Once he established that he was going to keep on recording, thanks to the rights given to him by the First Amendment, he began asking the cops about his knowledge of the law.
Brand new.
Okay, well, they just recently passed it, so.
Like super recently? Seems like a strange law.
Irritated, the cop orders the man to step out of his vehicle. Typical cop move, right? Again, Jeremy asserted his rights by refusing to do so. Enraged, the cop decided to hurl insults at Jeremy.
Vehicle, I'm responsible.
Negative, sir. I've never said that to you.
Okay.
Jesse Bright, the Uber and attorney, also never consented to a search on his vehicle, but the dog was called anyways, which took way longer than necessary. To make matters worse,
Can you actually imagine that? Talk about professionalism. Unfazed, Jeremy insisted that he will keep his camera on, so that he can protect himself from the policeman.
I've been out for 2 years.
Rather than backing off, the cop decides to search Jeremy's car.
That's what I'm doing. I don't know what you're doing. I just see this.
Jeremy decides to stand his ground. So what does the cop do? He decides to call for the K-9 unit. This is actually where the cop realizes that he may have made a mistake, because while they waited for the K-9 officer, Jeremy reveals that he's only moonlighting as an Uber driver. To the cop's undoubted distress, Jeremy reveals that he's actually an attorney. Uh-oh! Unfortunately, it became too late for the troubled cop to back off, because the K-9 unit arrived soon afterwards. If you guessed nothing was found in the car, you guessed right.
So where did you guys see him at?
Following the event, Jeremy recounted the event on social media so that he can show the world that his rights were violated by the cop. Soon afterwards, the police also revealed that filming cops is not an illegal activity. Let's hope that this cop gets the admonishment he deserves.
Yeah. So you're saying I'm not allowed on the front garden?
Cops attempt to intimidate a teenager. Although we've seen young people stand up for themselves in this video, our final entry on this list of bumbling police serves to remind us that you can never be too young to stand up for your rights against authority. That is what happens when a seemingly innocent kid gets stopped by the cop as he takes a walk.
After being late for a nail appointment. Good thing the only open container.
After their interaction, we can see the kid asking the cop if he's free to go. The cop denies the kid the permission to leave because the kid apparently flipped him off and swore at him.
Turn around. Put your hands behind your back.
If you can believe it, the kid blows the cop off by deciding to leave because swearing at the cops isn't a crime, so he cannot be held under custody. Rather than swallowing his pride and letting the kid leave, the cop actually saw it fit to chase after the kid. Distressed, the kid calls out for help. Initially, you might have thought that he was fortunate because a cop nearby hears the screams.
Detective Corporal Matthew Lavelle and the Posen police chief happened to be a block away when that call came in Monday afternoon.
However, rather than admonishing his colleague once he becomes aware of the situation, the second police officer decides to buddy up with his colleague so that they can detain the boy. He actually accuses the kid of constituting a public disturbance by walking down a road. Fortunately for the kid, he's intelligent and confident enough to insist that he hasn't committed any crimes, as using swear words against a cop isn't a crime. In fact, it is protected speech. Shaken, the cops began grasping at straws. They actually claimed that he was being detained by them for his own personal safety. Where have we heard that before? Again, the kid refused to be oiled. This time, he decides to let them know that they are attracting a lawsuit. Disturbed, you can only guess that the cops were thinking, who the heck is this kid? Well, if they didn't know before, now they know that he isn't one to mess with.
Check you out here. Huh? Check you out.
Did you enjoy our video? Do you know of any other incidents involving these blundering cops? Please share your thoughts in the comments section. Also, be sure to subscribe to our channel, Cops vs. Karma, and hit that bell icon so you'll be notified whenever we upload a video. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Until then, goodbye!